PFL Championships are upon us. The last PFL event of the year, man. I'm happy that the event is here, but darn it, now we got to wait a while for PFL.
Yeah.
So we're going to tell you about a special that we have up to take advantage of our PFL plays. We're going to go over a lot of the prelims, and we're going to kind of do a little deep dive on the championship fights. But yeah, we're hitting 68% of PFL plays. So we'll tell you about a special how you can grab all those plays plus all of our other sports. So let's just get right into it, Jim. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave us a best bet in the comment section. And if you do not have a best bet, we'll give you a code word. Just type the word award in the comment section. Good solid word for the week. Just helps boost the algorithm and helps us rank a little bit higher. So, all right, let's just start off. All eyes will be on. So if you guys are coming here for a deep dive on the Hatan Alsaif and Lilia Osmani, I would just like to say I apologize. I do not have a hot take on this woman that has never fought before, that we literally have no information on. Jim?
All you need to know is it says unranked next to her name, meaning unranked in any organization on the planet, in any commission, nothing.
Well, yeah, she's never
Unranked.
fought.
Nothing.
She's been in as many PFL fights as I have.
Yeah,
she's been in.
There's zero film on this girl. There's zero information. We don't even know if she's a real person. Nobody's able to find out anything. So, yeah, it's an amateur fight. If you have lines at certain offshore books, I mean,
Pass.
Do I have to tell you guys what to do with this fight?
Pass.
So.
All right, Costello events these against another unranked guy. This guy's 7-1 and somehow unranked. He's fighting in Jungle Fight.
Mm-hmm.
He did have a brief stint in LFA until Lucas Fernando sent him to the Shadow Realm. So I don't know that much about him, but I do know that this guy's going to roll.
Van Steenis is going to roll here. He is going to absolutely make mincemeat of this kid if it hits the ground. If it hits the ground, this fight is so over. You're going to see a systematic breakdown of positioning and submission attempts to set up. He's got a great arm triangle. He's got a good guillotine. He's got a rear naked choke. Van Steenis is a big guy for the weight class as well. These guys will size up pretty good, but I know Dantes is very outmatched in this. Give me Van Steenis inside of 2 rounds. If we get totals for that fight, we're still waiting on them to come out. We'll be looking at unders in that one.
Love it. I don't know either of these guys. Don't want to bet on it. Do you know anything about these guys?
Not really interested in either one. You're going to find that as a theme here is that these PFL MENA finals, these low-name guys, I'm really not interested in investing in. What I do know is that usually there's a giant talent disparity, and one of these fights ends. Now, this one specifically I have looked into, and this is a striker versus grappler. Perez is going to want to wrestle. Okay. Now, recently he hasn't been wrestling, which doesn't bode well for him. Ajuj is want to keep the range. He's very good at keeping the range. He's an excellent stand-up fighter. If Perez cannot get the wrestling going, I would see a knockout from Ajuj. I know that Perez is tough, but this is a different animal that he's fighting as far as stand-up goes. So I would like Ajuj. Give me again. This fight did not go the distance. I think we can see either guy, if they get it in their realm, is going to end.
These guys we do know really well. Jesus Pinedo and Jeremy Kennedy. I'm going to ask you guys to comment on this. I cannot be the only person that noticed that DraftKings listed Jeremy Kennedy as Jamie Kennedy, the actor, earlier in the week. And I swear on my life that Jim said something about, what do you think about Pinedo over Jamie Kennedy? And I was like, I've never heard of Jamie Kennedy, so I have no opinion. And Jim was like, what? And I was like, I know Jeremy Kennedy, but I do not know a fighter named Jay. Please comment if anyone else saw this on DraftKings earlier in the week, because I'm not losing my mind. I say that as they're taking me out to the insane asylum, but I'm not losing my mind here. Jeremy Kennedy, man, he was awful against Pitbull, and then it turns out it was a fade the baby theory. We didn't know that he had just had a baby. I don't know. Can he make a little comeback? Because he was awful against Pitbull. I mean, absolute, you know what, the bed. So what do you think?
There is a chance that Kennedy could wrestle Pinedo, but I don't think it has anything to do with Jeremy Kennedy.
Okay.
I think it has to do with what Pinedo we're getting. It's been a while. It's been a while. Pinedo should absolutely squash this kid. Okay. That win against Aaron Pico, if I hear one more person say that he's got a win over Aaron Pico, Pico's shoulder falls out of place. Pico wins the round with one arm. Wins the round. So then we go back to what? He beat Emmanuel Sanchez. So let's throw out that fight. His wins are Emmanuel Sanchez by decision and Carvalho by decision. He gets knocked out by Pitbull in a fight where he just looked horrible.
It was awful.
And this is a smaller guy. He's supposed to have this big advantage. He's huge. Pinedo is going to be massive compared to Kennedy once they step in the cage. What I want to see is Pinedo make weight. And if we see a good weight make and he looks sharp, Pinedo's not fighting for money. He doesn't have to. This is a fight that he's taking. He hasn't been able to get to the cage, pulled out with an injury, couldn't get a matchup. I think this is a reestablishment moment, and PFL wants to push their guy Pinedo. I mean, he's the champion. Nobody's beaten him since he won. He hasn't fought, but you know, he was going to absolutely wreck Pitbull.
Oh, we were just licking our chops at that one.
Yeah. So if Pitbull wrecked, why would we not? You know, I don't want to talk ourselves out of a bet here, but I like Pinedo very much in this spot, and I think he probably gets the finish because it's just how he fights. He hits like a truck. Yeah,
he hits really hard, and you're right. I mean, Pedro Carvalho, it's not a good win. So, yeah, you go back and look at the Jeremy Kennedy, a lot of holes that you can poke in that one. So, your boy Slim, always classic when a big guy's name is Slim. So, 7-0, he's looked pretty good. I don't know. My guess is he's going to win. I can't say I was super impressed with this fight against Sutherland, but you know, he's kind of getting a little bit better. Tell me about Babley, this 5-0 guy.
So Babley, same thing. I think these two guys are very similar fighters with their game plans, and somebody's game plan is going to get nullified in this spot. I'm not very impressed. Not that I'm like over the moon with Slim's competition, but Babley has fought a really low level of competition. I think this is the toughest fight for him. I mean, just look at the rankings as well. You have 11 in Europe and the other one worldwide. I mean,
what is the Progress Check FC1?
It's not good. We can guarantee it's not good. Progress Check? Really? I'm guessing the progress was to get Babley another win. That's what I'm thinking. They gave him a 3-3 guy. The fight against Isaiah Pinson, that went to decision with really no threat from either guy. So I think Slim's going to have a cardio advantage. I believe he's going to be able to get the wrestling going. He's no slouch on the feet. I really like Slim at this number. I believe he's minus 148 right now. I think he's the higher prospect of the two. I think you get the wrestling game going, and it probably goes the distance. This is probably a really good fight to go the distance. I could see a lot of wrestling and stall time.
Yeah. If you are waking up this morning and you're just like, hey, what's a great way to lose a lot of money? It's laying minus 300 on Barnawood. Listen, I get it. It's Alfie Davis, who he's got some wins in Bellator. They're good. They're not great wins. But Jim, you and I have watched Barnawood absolutely fall apart against Primus and JJ Wilson. And he gets the Darce choke in round one, but this guy can fall off an absolute cliff.
He can fall off a cliff, and his submission against Yachi, I actually like Yachi to make that tough. I've never seen a more lost guy on the ground than Yachi. Man, oh man. I mean, he hit the mat and you just knew the second it was down there. Like he was doing nothing that you're supposed to do as far as defensively sound. And he gave it to Barnaroui and it ended early. Barnaroui is going to have a massive advantage on the ground if it gets there. Now, I expect Alfie Davis to be able to stay safe early. So to me, this fight is a prime live bet spot. We could see Barnaroui have big success in round one. And then all of a sudden in round two, that takedown doesn't come easy. What I absolutely hate about Barnaroui is at the end of his striking combinations, he stands there with his hands down. And a skilled striker like Alfie Davis is going to be there for the counter shot. He is a beautiful counter striker. Good slips and rips, great kicks. If the takedown doesn't come, you're live betting Alfie Davis. at the end of round one. Barnarui's cardio could fall off an absolute cliff. And the reason why I say live bet is because Barnarui can lock up that sub in about a minute of the first round.
It's a perfect. Yeah, it's so well said. This is a classic live bet situation because you don't want to lay minus 300 on Barnawi because if you do that and round two rolls around and you're like, oh my God, why is my guy so tired? And Alfie Davis is landing piece. But you're right. He absolutely could get the submission. So, and you may get a great number on Alfie Davis. Like if he loses the first round, but then you just see Barnawi starting to fall apart. Yeah, it falls off the wheel. It falls off pretty quick for Barnawi. I'm not even going to try and pronounce this name here. Nothing on that fight.
Both these guys are fought already. This is a rematch. Al-Zaytat, I'll give it a shot. You guys can rip me in the comments if you like. He wins the first match as a big underdog against Al-Qatani. We've seen Al-Qatani knocked out plenty of times. We've seen him hurt plenty of times. I see no reason to think why this fight goes any differently. A lot of times, however, in rematches, you have the same winner, but you have a different result. So maybe Al-Qatani steads at range a little bit more, a little more cautious, extends the fight. I could see this one possibly going to the scorecards.
Yeah.
That's why I'd be looking about it.
Yeah, the lines are like even. So,
yeah.
Again, your guess is as good as mine. I have no opinion on this fight coming up.
I'm not really a fan of Eid.
Okay.
However, the lines have been moving in this fight. They're moving enough to where I think it's legitimate money, and I don't want to have any skin in this game. So I would want to fade Eid, but the money has been coming back in. He's looking at down to minus plus 170 at this point. So I think this is a wait and see. We can see it face-offs if we see a big size difference. Skill-wise, I think these guys are both really not that fantastic. So, I have nothing on this one. We can.
All right. Taleb and Rashid Haas. Again, you got Taleb as a minus 305. It makes sense.
Yes.
I get it. It's tough to. It's just tough to. I don't know. Is it tough to lay minus 300 on some of these guys that are just like not too well known, or is it the best time to lay those? Because I don't know. What's your opinion?
Not with PFL meta.
Okay.
If you guys have followed us for a while, you know how I feel and what my views are of the Indian and Middle Eastern fight divisions that aren't Eagle FC. Now, I'm not talking about the Russians that can wrestle. Okay, let's talk like Central Asia, right? Central Asia. I just don't think that their leagues are very advanced, and there's so much volatility with these guys. What I do like is that there's big skill gaps. So with this fight specifically, I'm not looking to ride a 300. I'm going to wait and see what we have for a total. I believe that Talib can get a finish in this fight. I think Haas leaves way too much to be desired as far as openings, and I would not be shocked to see somebody take a nap in this fight. I will not be laying minus 300 on anybody in PFL Meta Finals.
No. We got undefeated. Again, I'm not going to embarrass myself by doing these names. So, any thoughts on this one? I mean, it's a minus 410 here, so it's a parlay piece or nothing.
I do believe Muhammad is parlayable. I do believe he is parlayable. Again, will I be playing the minus 400? No, you can't play it straight up. I do believe he is parlayable. I don't see anything coming back the other way that's going to stop him from doing what he wants to do. We should have a big size advantage as well for Muhammad. So, again, I think this is the one that you could parlay. I would be interested in parlaying him. I haven't done it yet, but move on to the good stuff.
All right. Before we get to the good stuff, I just want to tell you guys we got a really good 7-day special. This is the special I was talking about earlier. It's discounted down to $69. You get all of our PFL plays along with all of our NFL plays. We have a college football best bet that goes off on Friday. It's a Formula One weekend for us where we've been really good. And just really, really proud that we are up 183 units since January 1st of 2023. We all talk about long-term results. We've shown it. We've shown short-term. We've shown long-term. So the 7-day special sets up really, really well. We got 4 NFL games before the weekend even starts. So just a lot of action. We're 9-2 in the NBA. So any NBA plays that we have will be coming out. So NHL plays as well. Just everything. A lot of plays, a lot of good ways to build that bankroll. you can get caught up with the Thanksgiving and how many like sporting events there are. We're very selective. We put in tons of time and effort to get these plays out. So PFL's been just a blessing this year for bankrolls, hitting 68% of those. So no reason to get just one pack. Just get the 7-day special for $69 and get all plays sent to you, and repping that 7 days of profit. So, all right, let's talk the main events here.
Here we go.
All right, Goltsov and Popov. Popov is a little bit of a favorite, minus 130. Minus 130 at the time of recording this. To me, Jim, this comes down to, can Goltsov get damage on Popov early? Mm-hmm. He's going to have to use the striking to stop Popov from shooting in and working the wrestling. If this is a Goltsov fight, this thing's over before you know it. If it's a Popov fight, it's 5 rounds of laying just control time and crowd booing. You're checking your phone. You're going to the bathroom. Just like, I don't know. It's just 2 completely different styles, and so you really got to pick one. Like to me, it's like. Mm-hmm. If you're playing Popov, it's probably Popov by decision. Yes. If you're playing Goltsov, it's Goltsov by KO. I find it tough to pick one. Goltsov has been really good. Actually, both these guys have been good to us. We've been making money on both of them. I'm going to lean Goltsov to do some damage early. I think he's just got to be so aggressive and kind of go for it in the first round. You have to damage up Popov. You have to get him out of there. Otherwise, he's just going to make this a long, brutal, just cardio gassing, like 5 rounds. What do you think?
I've been leaning Goltsov all week. I just haven't been able to get there. And the reason being is, like you said, the control time. The thing what I like about Popov is he has a couple different takedowns that he can go to. He's not strictly a double leg, single leg, cage grapple. He can kind of do it all. What I don't like about him is he shows very, very poor control on the ground when he's not fighting Steve Mowry, who can't get up off the floor.
Well, also,
he let Davion Franklin reverse him how many times? He let Linton Vinsel reverse him how many times?
Wasn't Steve Mowry? Wasn't that a fade the baby theory?
But we didn't know about.
We had no clue. About. Yeah, and it was like, oh, Mowry looks like he hasn't trained. Mm-hmm. Oh, it turns out he hadn't trained.
Yep. I think that was the same card as Kennedy as well.
Yeah,
maybe it was before it.
And you're right about Vinsel and Franklin. You're right. They Popov stays on him, but he can get reversed.
It's not a good look. It's really not. And, he relies on volume takedowns, not holding somebody down. Now, what we saw with Goltsov when he fought Vinsel is he ended up on bottom. Now, he survived it and turned the tables on Vinsel when Vinsel gassed, but I don't think you're going to see that gas from Popov. I'm thinking another way here. Doesn't Goltsov win if he can just stay on the outside and use that long jab and just keep Popov away?
100%.
I'm thinking if he could do that for the first couple rounds and manages his cardio, I wouldn't be shocked to see a Goltsov by decision.
Oh, wow.
At this point. If he banks the first 3 rounds.
Okay.
I mean, what's Popov going to finish him?
No, Popov's not finishing Goltsov unless Goltsov is completely
so.
Exhausted, which I don't think Popov can do that with.
Again, I hate to sound like a broken record and not give a pick, but this is a live bet. You're going to know really early if Goltsov can stop the takedowns. And if he can't, he's in deep, deep shit. Mm-hmm. If he can, you're going to get to Goltsov as quick as you possibly can. Because he will go for it. This is his 3rd and last chance to win this entire season and get that $1 million. There's nobody more motivated on this card than him.
Brett Primus and Gadzi Rabadanov. This falls directly into our new favorite category, which is fade the old fighter. Primus is 39. So if I were to give you 3 opponents for Brett Primus to fight this season, in order for Primus to get here, it would have to be guys that are horrendous on the ground. That's the only way. That's the only way Brett Primus makes it to the finals. And who does he get just gifted to him? Bruno Miranda, Solomon Renfro, and Clay Collard. You could not have. You literally, like, Primus couldn't have picked his opponents.
Yeah.
Better for this. I just 39 years old. Godzi is not going to be playing the Primus game where he lets Primus take him down and control him. I just don't see it. I think this is a 39-year-old that gets gassed when things don't go his way. To me, this is Godzi all day long.
Here's the key with this fight. So everyone knows, again, research your PFL rules. Elbows are allowed in championship fights. Okay? Brett Primus will bleed if you look at him funny. Okay? So if what we think is going to happen, which is Godzi is able to nullify the grappling and get his own grappling, Primus is going to be on bottom and elbows are going to be coming. I'll even shoot my shot in this. Dr. Stoppage.
Oh, wow.
I think if he gets on top, his ground and pound is going to really hurt Primus. He's going to open him up. Again, he's got 39 years old. He's got a ton of scar tissue. It's like the Nate Diaz thing where it just, and Nick, if you just touch them, they bleed.
Yeah.
And we've seen Godzi in this tournament, the actual playoff bracket. He went right for it. This isn't the just get me the points and get me, to the playoffs. He is going to go after Primus. I think he's going to be the bull, and Primus is not farewell when he's not the bull. So give me Godzi by finish.
Love it. Love fading these older guys. I think this might be a live dog coming up here on Umaltov and Shmuel Musaev. Got questions about Musaev. We don't know what special vitamins he's taking at the moment, but he has taken a lot of special vitamins in the past. His body will tell you that. That being said, listen, he gets Logan Storley out of there, and then he beats Rabadanov like a couple times, 2 times in a row. But I don't know. What's there to take away from Musaev's experience here in PFL? Like, can we learn a whole lot about him? Do we really know a whole lot about what he's going to do against Umaltov? I have the over in this one because I don't see either of these guys like getting out of there, and I'm looking at the lines right now. And over 2.5 is only minus 166.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. These guys are going to have to manage their cardio.
They can't 5-round fight. Oh, yeah.
5-round fight. They can't come out balls to the wall and get tired because I think they're going to do a lot of the same things. I'm not sure who gets the finish in this one. I like the overs.
I mean, if there's a finish, you have to think it's Musaev round 1.
It's Musaev by KO is
right?
most
Like
likely.
round 1, he catches Umaltov. I think a lot of people are disrespecting Umaltov. I actually have Musaev picked as my Parlay Buster.
Okay.
Lot of love. The line just keeps on creeping. He's up to plus 235 at this point. He's bigger, first of all. I went back and watched Shamil's last 2 fights against Rabadanov. The first fight, you couldn't take so much away. He stuffed the takedowns. He got back up. He lands the KO. I watched the second fight, and I think Rabadanov is worse than we thought.
I agree completely. I didn't see a whole lot of upside.
No.
On this guy. And listen, what you're going to get credit for choking out Staropoli and then go back and he's fighting in one championship and he's going to decision. Like, there's kind of one of those like, okay, you're undefeated, but really? So you're right. These wins for Musaev may not be as impressive as we first thought.
I think honestly, everybody's thrown off the scent. We've totally forgotten about Umaltov and his resume. First of all, this is a guy that's been a perennial contender. Has had some injury troubles, has had some cardio issues, but has done the deed. He's done the job. Not finishing Neiman Gracie is a big black mark. However, this is what's important about the PFL that everybody needs to understand. You don't need a finish sometimes.
It's a points base. You got to go back to the situation.
Points system. So if you're fighting Neiman Gracie, who you know is going to butt scoot and fall to his back, you're just not going to give him the situation to get his win condition. He has one win condition. Yeah. Could he have finished Neiman Gracie? I 100% think so. But
didn't need to. He had the quick finish against Brennan Ward. He was fine.
Knew if he won, he was going to the championship, right? Get out of
Yeah.
Dodge, nice and clean, good to go. I'm picking Umaltov. I think he's going to blow everybody's parlays out of the water, and we're falling for fool's gold with Shamil Musaev. He's actually going to fight somebody who can fight back, who can wrestle just as good as him, and has good striking. Rabadanov striking is horrible. So he's fought the same guy twice. I don't like that at all. I always like betting against guys who fight the same person back to back, and they get a new opponent because it's just a total change up.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, our guy Impa fighting again against I just call him Yags.
Good enough.
I love Yags. Impa is still the favorite here, minus 180, holding strong. Honestly, to me, this just comes down to volume. Yags doesn't throw enough volume for me. Like when he does throw, they look pretty good, but would he land like 43 strikes or something in a 3-round fight in against like he got outlanded against Rob Wilkinson. And I think you and I both thought he did win because his strikes seemed to have a lot more. But
yes,
Impa's just going to be the more active fighter. He's going to clinch. He's going to initiate the forward pressure. This is a guy that's won this before. This is a guy that's, the one time he looked really shaky was
Neto, right?
Yeah, Neto. When he was gassing, but that was the Utah, like where it was. He just everyone gassed on that card, and he still got a knockout in a fight. He may have been losing.
Wasn't that in the 5th?
What's that?
Knockout in the.
No.
It was 2. It was 2. Sorry.
He knocked him out right at the end of the round, so it goes down as quote doctor stoppage, but he knocked him out. I just think Yags I think Yags is going to throw punches. I think it's going to do good, but I think experience is going to show through. Impa knows how to win these things. I think the rounds are going to be ever so close. I think you're going to see several rounds where you're like, well, Yags had a couple really good moments, but Impa landed more shots and did a little bit more with the clinch and the wrestling. So I think the fight is priced properly. I think Impa wins again. I just think the lack of volume is going to bite Yags on this one. What do you think?
I was all ready to fade Impa. Thought it was time. Then I looked at the face-offs. Yags isn't as big as everybody thinks he is. And that's the real question with Impa is can he compete at this weight class against legitimate light heavyweights? I don't see the massive size advantage. Like, Martin Hamlet, that was a legit 205er. And Impa knocked him into next week. So we know that the power will translate. Not that Hamlet's a great striker by any means, but you hit the nail on the head. Yags is just so low volume, and we have not seen him pushed yet. That Rob Wilkinson fight.
Rob shit the bed.
Really,
that was such a winnable fight. Right? He even outlanded Yags and lost. He has to be kicking himself.
I mean, he didn't push him at all. He let Yags dictate the fight, where it was going. It just wasn't good. Simon Biong, we both agree, is terrible. Awful. Terrible fighter on the ground. Jacob Neto gets knocked out or knocks you out. Okay. And other than that, the rest of these guys, Rafael Carvalho, really?
Yeah.
So Impa, who's been fighting the who's who championship fights, goes 5 with Johnny Eblin, comes back against almost getting knocked out by Neto and showed that he can take a shot at this weight class. I've kind of flip-flopped here. I'm thinking that this 180 on Impa could look like a really, really good discount. I think everyone's fooled themselves into thinking that Yags is going to be too big, and we've seen Impa handle these 205ers for 2 years now.
Yeah, looking at the over, over 3.5 is minus 160. I think this sets up for a really nice over. Not sure. Like Yags doesn't throw enough for me, to get the knockout. And again, Impa knows how to manage a 5-round fight. We watched it against Josh Silveira last time out. So moving on, our girl Dakota Ditcheva against Tyler Santos. I did a deep dive on this one because I was worried about Ditcheva. We've made a lot of money off of her, but we came to the same conclusion, didn't we, Jim?
You did.
What if Tyler Santos is one of the most overrated fighters on the planet right now? You want to do this deep dive now?
Let's do it.
Okay, so
Let's do it.
here's the premise of what we were thinking of. We were like, well, Tyler Santos, man, one of the best female fighters in the world, and she is one of the best. There's no no doubting that. Let's go back and just start tracking her from the Contender Series in UFC. Okay, so she wins a decision on Contender Series against somebody that fought Tyler Santos in 2018 and then just didn't fight for a while. Okay, couldn't finish her. Loses in her UFC debut. Beats Molly McCann in 2020. Beats Jillian Robertson. That was when Jillian Robertson was not good. You and I have both been really impressed with how Jillian Robertson has progressed. So then she beats Roxanne Modafferi, okay, and Joanne Wood. Are we really going to elevate her for those? So I think Tyler Santos, where everyone is putting all their eggs in one basket, how good she is this loss to Shevchenko. And when I went back and looked at it, wasn't this when we're looking back on this where Shevchenko was injured? Or there was like some kind of injury or something going on, because she didn't look good there, and then she didn't look good against Grosso, and then she's fought,
or she was burnt out. I think that's what we were saying more so, is that she's just
burned out,
right? Like you're
okay. So just so that she fights Alexa Grosso like 3 times in a row. So we're elevating her because she loses to Shevchenko, then she loses to Blanchfield and bolts. Okay, chokes out Joanne, whatever, barely beats Jenna Bishop in a fight where she looked awful in, and then she beats Liz Carmouche, but looks awful, and Carmouche looked awful. Like she's beating these low-level people in PFL, and I'm kind of going, are we really elevating her because she lost to Valentina Shevchenko? Is that what's going on here? When she came to PFL, you and I were both like, oh man, Tyler Santos is going to wreck. And yeah, she went 3-0, but eye test, it's looked pretty bad.
I mean, it's been underwhelming. That's the words that I would use. That's a lot of money that they invested in this girl to look mediocre.
Yeah, you can't be going to split decision against Jenna Bishop when PFL brings you over.
No, that was also a fight where neither of them needed a finish, so they were kind of content to like play grapple for all of it. But it's still no excuse. You should still unanimously win that, not a split. And the fight against Carmouche, this is why it's always important to go back and keep notes. One thing that we pegged in that Carmouche fight was Tyler Santos doesn't check leg kicks.
Truth.
And Liz did some good work on that leg, and it was a problem. And if you go back and you listen to our conversation during that fight, first thing we said is Dakota is going to butcher her front leg if they're on the feet. And Dakota is going to butcher her front leg if they're on the feet. Santos has also poked the bear in this situation. Dakota Ditcheva is not exactly the girl that I want to piss off. I'll just throw that out there. She called her MMA Barbie and said that she has something for her. So you want to fire up Dakota Ditcheva, be my guest, but I don't think it's going to bode well. If we look at Dakota, she's been able to get back up. There's never been anybody who's been able to hold her down. Jenna Bishop couldn't hold her down. Got her down, got her on her back. She got right back up. The pinpoint accuracy of Ditcheva is just something to behold. I don't think there's another woman in MMA that even is close to her. The last I remember of this pinpoint accuracy is probably prime Amanda Nunes, where everything that just hit right on the button.
She just landed everything.
Yeah,
if it was aiming for the chin, it hit on the chin.
Yeah. Exactly. I think this is Ditcheva. I think it could get a little sketchy early. You might see a takedown. You might see her held down, but we had spoke about cardio. I didn't think Santos's cardio looked that great. And
I thought it looked awful.
Younger.
I thought it looked terrible, actually.
Have we ever seen, like, even in Dakota's decisions, have we ever seen her tired?
No. And
this girl does nothing but train.
Yeah, and you're right. Like, this is like one of those where it's like, oh, round one, and we always, question those fighters as far as, how good is their cardio going to be. But, when she was, 8-0, I watched her knock out somebody in round 3 when she's coming up through. And her camp, man, she's in the best. like if you've seen some of the videos of her training,
Mhm.
I trust camps. I think this is something that we don't do enough on, but you don't think they've been working day in and day out on what to do if Tyler Santos
Yeah.
tries to take you down. And I'm with you. I think Ditcheva can get up from these things. And yeah, we haven't seen Ditcheva in 5 rounds, and maybe it's time. She's going to be younger, and I just the speed and the precision on the striking is such an advantage for Ditcheva. I was worried about the price until I started looking at it, and now, yeah, I'm all in. I wouldn't be surprised if Ditcheva gets a late finish. I was so in on Tyler Santos, and but be honest, we've bet on Tyler Santos since he got to the PFL. Not been the most confident bets in the world when you're laying some of these prices on Santos. And you're like, what are you doing? So yeah, I think we can make money by fading Tyler Santos here.
Here's the other thing to think about. Does Tyler Santos need the $1 million?
It's kind of interesting because it's interesting because Tyler Santos PFL brought over, that was one of their big free agent signings. And Ditcheva, I mean, like, listen, the world is her oyster.
And she's on an entry-level contract.
Yeah. She's having to foot the bill for the now. I'm sure she's doing just fine with sponsors.
I'm sure she's fine.
She's doing okay with other aspects of
what big signing free agents have made it to the top in PFL? Zero.
Impa's.
Well, he was also a cast-off.
That's a great point. They kind of grabbed Tyler Santos.
Yeah.
You're right. UFC was like, we're
Santos.
done.
They paid for Shane Burgos, right?
Awful.
They paid for these guys. They didn't just get them because, oh, yeah, sure, I want to come fight for you. They found Dakota Ditcheva, signed her up early. They found Impa on the trash heap and brought him in.
What a career resurgence from Impa.
Oh,
I'm so proud of that guy, man.
Great story. And a great dude.
Yeah. I think it's Ditcheva, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was Ditcheva by KO. So, all right, last fight, Brendan Loughnane in Khizriev. Jim and I were talking. It was like, really, this is going to be the last fight. First off, just tell everyone why you think this is the last fight. I think this is such a snooze fest, man.
This is the PFL's boy, right? 2-time champion, can go for a third. Nobody's ever gotten a third. Saud University couldn't do it. He was the other one that was closest. But
there's a lot of things Saud University can't do.
Yeah. Ray Cooper had 2. A couple guys have gotten 2. Nobody's ever gotten a 3. I think his luck runs out. I understand the marketing behind it. They're going to put him up front. It's the big. All you're going to hear is he gets a chance for MMA history to become a legend. And he's got to fight a 17-0 Russian. Okay. Don't forget, in I believe Abu Dhabi, or are we in Saudi Arabia? I think we're Saudi Arabia. I think
Saudi Arabia.
I think Khizriev is a different level of wrestling. I know Brendan has stifled a little bit of wrestling in this run, but this is just a different kind of wrestling. And we've seen Khizriev be okay in the stand-up. I've actually been impressed with how he's grown in his stand-up. With these Russian fighters, they don't show you everything. They don't. They don't fight as hard as they can. In PFL, they're very, very tactical. I think they have mastered the tournament system and how to get there. We saw it with Magomedov.
Yeah.
Right? They just know what to do to get to the finals. And then they show their full potential. And they know how to get that win. They'll bank 3 rounds, and he will hold down Brendan for the next 2. If they know that he's up, he will gladly hold and snooze. This is going to be the most boring fight of the night. I think this is Khizriev by decision. Loughnane gets taken down. I don't think he's able to get back up. And this is just a snooze fest decision, and Khizriev gets the W. It's really, really hard to win this 3 times in a row. I don't care who you are.
Do you know the over 4.5 rounds is minus 315? It tells you all you need to know about this one. I agree. It's Khizriev. I don't know, man. Like, I get PFL thinks Brendan Loughnane is their boy. To me, this fight would be buried. It'd be like, first off, I would put Goltsov and Popov over because you always have the Goltsov thing, the Primus, and you could have a finish in there. The Musaev and Umaltov, I wouldn't. I'd put Impa over that one, and I would pump up the the story of Image going for 2 in a row after the UFC Kasparov, and how is Dakota Ditcheva not your bread and butter? How?
I heard a very
She's a
interesting.
superstar. Brendan Loughnane is in his. How old is Brendan Loughnane? He's like
getting up there.
He's 34.
Yeah, he's getting up
You're
there,
pumping
especially
your
this weight class.
34-year-old guy. It's madness. Come on, PFL. Like do better. You got to give UFC credit. They at least know how to market their stars and know how to put their stars out and in front of everyone. Like to me that you don't have Dakota Ditcheva as the only person on your poster is beyond belief for obvious reasons.
Yes, she should be the biggest picture.
Yes.
I heard a very, very interesting interview with Big John and Josh Thompson. And basically what's been going on with PFL is they have a lot of money. They know how to spend money. They know how to raise money. They have no idea how to promote a fight. We saw this with their big super fight with Francis Ngannou. It was an absolute train wreck.
It was one of the worst cards.
Production value-wise, it was horrible.
Production value, marketing.
Terrible.
There was nobody in the seats. It was like Dana White had to look at that and just laugh. Be like, it's a wrap. We don't have any competition. Give me a break.
We were saying at the beginning of the year that this could have been a real big swing for us as MMA fans, and we would start getting some legitimate side-by-side competition. And basically what PFL is doing is buying and throwing a lot of money at it, and they don't have anybody steering the ship. They don't have anybody who's a good promoter. They don't have anybody who knows about fighting and can book fights properly. And this is a prime example. This is a prime example to this point. I don't understand how you can drop the ball so much with such a machine. Give your boy Jim a call. I'll set you guys up.
Jim, how is
we'll
Biagio? Jim, how is Biagio Ali Walsh not fighting on this card?
Very great point. Unless he's injured, he should be on this card.
It's the PFL Championships. Yes. He's Muhammad Ali's grandson. You have the stories right there.
There's multiple fighters that have wanted fights and have contacted PFL and Bellator and have gotten no call back. They can't get an answer. Their management can't get a hold of him. Patchy Mix is wasting his prime.
Yes.
He came out in social media and said it. He goes, I'm one of the best in the world and I'm wasting my prime for this promotion. Where is Aaron Pico? Where is Aaron Pico?
Yeah, but
I don't understand why you have all these guys.
Georgia's eyed against most.
Ridiculous.
It really is, man. It's PFL, man. It gets so frustrating. Jim, you and I are small business owners, and I can't believe we're going on this rant. But it's like we bootstrap our businesses, and then you have someone like PFL that's just got money coming out of their ass, and you're like, how?
Yeah,
how? Like if I had just a little bit of a budget to play with, I would be great. And this is the best that they can do. Just Brendan Loughnane and Timur Khizriev in your main event where the over-under is minus 315 over 4.5 is awful.
You could even put Goltsov as your main event and bill it as never won it, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Here's your big moment. There's so many other storylines. Last shot.
There's a million storylines, but to put Loughnane there is just and okay. Let's say best case scenario, he wins. Who cares?
Nobody
cares. Stop moving the needle at all. It's a gigantic swing and a miss. And then, of course, because they can't help themselves, are they putting it on a Saturday? No.
Yeah.
Are they doing it when? Are they? You have a prime weekend where there's no UFC, and instead of taking the UFC time slot, we're gonna have it start at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. If you're on the West Coast, it's 4:30 a.m. That Saudi Arabia money is really powerful, but. My God.
That's a great point. They're a money-driven company. I mean, all companies are money-driven, but they got to be able to recoup. What are they giving out? $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 million?
I just can't wrap my head around.
You got to have a good product.
I just cannot wrap my head around. We have our biggest tournament end of the season. When does it start? Black Friday, 7 a.m. Like, wait, what? Run this idea by Dana White.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell.
You're
Dana,
fired. You're fired.
If you're in sales, go to Dana White and say, "Listen, we got our biggest UFC 11 or whatever. It's our last event of the year. It's our big send off. And then we go on, 4-week break. Dana's like, okay, yeah, you got me excited. Like, who are we going to put in there? It's like, pick some middle 30-some-year-old guy and let's run it at Friday morning. You're right. He's fired. That guy's fired on the spot because he doesn't get it. So, all right, enough ranting. So,
you'll hear more rants if we get on a live show Friday, guys.
I'll probably get up and turn on the live stream.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll have to break off and do some things, but I'll turn on the live stream. We'll do a takedown live. The takedown live at 3 a.m. went better than we can possibly imagine. So why not? What could possibly go wrong with doing? That's
at least we'll all be full and happy.
Sarcastic. Fun. It was one of the worst streams we've ever done. All right. Do you want to try Parlay Buster? Woulda, coulda, shoulda?
Yeah, I'm going with. Can I go first, Parlay Buster?
Of course.
I'm going with Shamil Musaev.
Okay. It's a great one because everyone's on him.
That's the one for me. I think he's the Parlay Buster. Everybody loves him. Fighting an underrated Russian as well.
Okay. All right. See, so the woulda, coulda, shoulda is tough because some of these are really like juiced. So you're kind of like, how do we? All right. So my woulda, coulda, shoulda is going to be. I got it. It's Impa and Yags over 3.5.
Okay.
I think we're gonna look at Yags throwing 7 shots in a round, and Impa pushing him up against the fence, closing the distance, and neither guy is bleeding at the end of the fight. I think this goes the distance. So to get a -160 at only 3.5 with Impa, who knows how to manage a 5-round fight, like he will literally walk Yags through the 5-round fight. They'll be like, nope, you don't throw enough. I'm going to clinch now and I'm going to sneak this round out. I think it just goes to a decision. So to get over 3.5, I think that's my woulda, coulda, shoulda. You got a woulda, coulda, shoulda?
No, roll with that one. We don't need to.
All right, guys. Thanks very much for joining us. Hit the like button, subscribe. Good luck on your plays. I will be on the Winning in the Shadows YouTube channel. We'll turn on the stream early in the morning, whenever we can join. Jim, if you can join us at some point. But I believe the main card starts at 1 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
So that's going to be when we got there. So, all right, guys. Thanks very much. Good luck on your bets. We'll see you later.
Take care, guys.